Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I get to welcome you to a terrific Tuesday here. Really excited for my guest who's in the building, Kwasi Bowie, who is going to be telling us about the Covenant Home Loan, y'all. I'm really excited to be talking to him about his career in real estate and what this loan means for global majority first-time home buyers. But of course, it is the top of the show. So right now, you get to participate with us and help us grow by sharing this show with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Date with Trae. And if you can't watch our TV show, you know we got you covered. You can always also listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find us on your favorite platforms all across all podcast platforms. Well, before I get into it with Kwasi, I just wanted to say that, this financial education we're about to dive into is so beneficial. We have seen through so many statistics and data how many Black homeowners we are losing year over year. And for those of us who have been living in gentrified areas, we've seen this happen firsthand where, trying to pass a home down from one generation to another just didn't always happen in our community, especially on top of, predatory lending. That was an issue. We also have those who were knocking on people's doors and offering to buy homes. And essentially that ended up being the route some of our homeowners took, specifically in the Central District. And I saw this myself. And it's always one of those things that's like, what can we do to change the narrative? Well, we need more and more kinds of programs like what we're about to hear today to be able to be intentional for those first-time home buyers who are looking to start a way to build generational wealth. We also know, too, that real estate is one of the primary ways that so much generational wealth has been built in this country. And so I'm really grateful to be able to utilize this platform to not only educate myself, but to be sharing this discussion with all of you. So we're all educated about these newer products that hit the market that are really intentional and trying to focus in on global majority communities. Now, many of you know when I say global majority, I'm talking about anyone who's not white. That is true. And when we are all together, we actually are the majority. So I say that because these kinds of programs and that language is starting to get embedded more and more. You may hear the term BIPOC too, which often means similar, the same kind of thing, right? Well, the thing is for me is that I'm excited because we have talked about it from an advocacy perspective for a really long time. And now we're starting to see the market shift and grow with the needs that we have out here. And so I'm really grateful because up next after this short break, Kwasi Bowie is here and he's going to be telling us all about the Covenant Home Loan, or what he calls the Reparations Home Loan, y'all. You definitely don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Let's start the show. Seattle Opera presents the world premiere of Jubilee. Jubilee follows the historic Fisk Jubilee Singers' initial tours following the Civil War. While raising funds for the fledgling Fisk University, the group shared their music around the world, showcasing more than 40 African-American spirituals such as Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Deep River, and Wade in the Water. Jubilee is not to be missed. October 12th through 26th at McCaw Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Kwasi Bowie. Hi.
Hey, Trae.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Well, thanks so much for coming on and making sure we could shed some light on this phenomenal home loan product. Now, before I get into it, I got to go into your background because you are a managing broker and team leader, right, for John L. Scott?
Absolutely,
Tell us a bit about your, introduction into real estate and what got you into it.
Well, initially, I got into real estate. I wanted to be a real estate investor. And I was going to these classes, realized I needed some money. And somebody just said, you're here at all the classes, all the trainings. Why don't you just get your real estate license? So I can't remember who that person was, but they kind of gave me that nudge, and I just had a thirst for knowledge. And so I just went after it. So I got my license. I was licensed in 2007. And that was right when the market really took a tank. And I feel very fortunate that I got in at that time, because at that time I really had to learn a lot about all aspects of real estate, because if you really tried to niche down in specific things back then, you really couldn't help that many people. And so for me, I really dove deep, got some knowledge, and I was able to thrive. And I got in 2007 and never turned back.
Wow. Well, there's so much to be said about real estate, and there's so many different avenues one can take to get into the industry. What led you to broker? Now, because I know that's a bit different. Tell us a bit about the difference and what got you there.
Well, the difference really is that I can manage other people who are actually licensed. So if you're just a regular broker, then you can help people buy and sell homes, but you can't manage other people or oversee other people. So for me, I'm able to grow a team of other people who have their license and be able to help them and guide them and advise them on how they can do business and do better business.
Well, what's it like to be here? I mean, we hear so much outwardly about this booming market in Seattle. If you look at almost any, poll, you'll see Seattle's kind of at the top in terms of, real estate and people moving here for that. Tell us a bit about how it is in this market.
Well, I would say the interesting thing about this market is, interest rates are high. They're not as high as they were. But the home affordability is tough because you have a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are here in the Seattle area. If these Fortune 500 companies were in another market, in another area of the country, they'd be the #1 employer by far. And we have multiple. And so when you have those kind of incomes, steady high income, then they can afford more for houses and they push the prices up. And so we've seen a lot of that. And then you add in interest rates and, going higher. And all that does is create a higher monthly payment. And so home affordability is tough for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. And this is why these kinds of loan products really make sense in this market. But this is also revolutionary. I mean, this is new. I don't know the history of this, but this is something that's just now kind of coming out. So when we're talking about this Covenant Home Loan, Kwasi, we need you to tell us all about it.
Yeah, so the Covenant Home Loan literally is the first of its kind in the nation. So they call it the Covenant Home Loan, you mentioned it at top that that I was calling it the reparations loan. Okay, so if you look at the fine print, that's really what it is. It's a they just gift wrapped it a different way, and really what they're doing is they're taking responsibility of the state of Washington and how it was systematic before 1968. And so they're taking responsibility of what the state had to do with it. You take into consideration redlining, which was essentially saying, hey, these people in this area or of this ethnicity can get loans and these people can't. And so by far, the Black community was marginalized in that way, and we did not get access, both through financing, but also within the deed. People were not allowed to sell it to people who were Black. And besides maybe on the deed, maybe they did it in the homeowners association, in the covenant within the homeowners association. So there were so many ways that our community was blocked from home ownership, which leads to generational type wealth. Besides that generational wealth, if somebody has equity in their home, that could be the difference between me having the cash to put you through college or taking a home equity line out of my house to maybe help you with college or help you to buy your first home. There's so many ways, and home ownership touches the finances of people in our community. And I think that's really what the Covenant program was all about.
Wow. I mean, so the parameters of this are, some specifics here in order to qualify. Yeah. Let's talk about those qualifiers so people understand.
Yeah, so in order to qualify, you have to be a first-time home buyer. Now, in the state of Washington, first-time home buyer could mean that maybe you previously owned a home 3 years ago, you sold that home, and you've been renting for the last 3 years. You could be considered a first-time home buyer. Now, they have some other exceptions for some people, but overwhelmingly, that is number one, is that you have to be removed from home ownership for 3 years. The other one is the household income can't be over $147,400 in King County. So if you are under $147,400 in King County, then you can purchase a home or you can qualify for this program. And then you also have to have deep roots in Seattle. And by deep roots, they qualify that as prior to 1968, you have to have a parent, grandparent, great-grandparent that lived in the Seattle area. And if you meet those main criteria, then you qualify for the program. That will get you up to $150,000 towards your down payment and your closing costs. So we were just talking about home affordability. So you're being gifted, or you're getting a second loan for $150,000 with no interest, there's no payment, and you do not pay that loan back unless you sell the house or if you refinance. So I do want to touch on one thing, because I do think that this is an amazing program, and I think it's a phenomenal start. But there are definitely some things that we can improve with, because, for instance, right now interest rates are high, so people are doing what's called a 2-1 buy down, or potentially a 3-2-1 buy down. So they're buying their interest rate down. Well, you can't buy your interest rate down with this particular program. So it's a great start. It can get you in, and as the market starts to improve, you're going to get equity gain on that $150,000. But that's just another way that they can improve on it. But that's really the parameter: $150,000, zero interest, zero payments.
What type of things go into the review to say how much you actually get? Is that based on income? When we say up to something, that means it's all the things in between zero and that. How does someone qualify for $50,000 versus $150,000?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that really depends on 20% down and how much those closing costs are. So that's really how they come up with how much money that they will give you in that program. Really what it's doing is getting rid of your private mortgage insurance when you have more than 20% down. So that allows you to qualify for a little bit more as well. And then the 150, if you were able to get up to 150,000, that's literally just off of your loan amount. So whatever you could normally qualify for, add 150,000 or add your 20% in your closing costs, and that's what you would be able to get.
Wow. I mean, this is quite phenomenal, honestly. You know, we've talked about in so much, especially Black liberation movements, the word reparations, it carries certain characteristics and like that are uniquely defined to that term. And I think over all of these years, folks who have been fighting for it, it's been an interesting fight. And to see something like this come through where it's like, hey, we're trying to really answer that, maybe without saying it explicitly, but these are the things you need to do to qualify. Now, when we talk about global majority, and I know you talk about it like for BIPOC community, so I'm assuming on this qualifier, is this available to everyone, or is this kind of trying to really be specific to certain communities?
Yeah, so it's definitely for certain communities. So it's Black, Indigenous, which would be Native American, that's the state of Washington's term. Alaskan Native, Hawaiian Native, Korean, and Indian Asian. And there may be some others in there. And this is just the beginning. So they even say they are open to revisions and changing some things. This is just how they started. And when you dig into all the studies that they did, so they didn't just pick some of this out of thin air. You look at Black homeownership, for instance, it has not improved since the 60s. Yeah. So they took a look at, okay, well, these were the marginalized communities, but these communities also haven't changed in home ownership, whereas other communities did, other communities of color. And so that is where they started. And so there may be some changes, there may be some additions to that, but for right now, those are the people in the communities that have access to this program.
Wow. Okay, so you're telling me about this, but you're experiencing it because you're in the industry. How would folks know that this is available to them? That's where I think it's a hard question, because it kind of depends on who their real estate agent is. All of these things are huge factors in this, right?
Yeah, and even when I found out about it, it was maybe 2 to 3 weeks after it had already passed and it was there. And then it was almost a trickle of information of what was available. This is something that I feel needs to be screamed from the rooftops, and that people need to be tapping in. And even if you are a homeowner and you're in the Black community, this is something that you need to share with other people to help them to tap in, because we need to create, and we have this opportunity to create generational wealth and all the aspects of our lives that touches, and how it can better our community. And so for me, it's more of getting on this show, in the barbershops and all around town, is just sharing the word that this program is available. And even if you may not know if you qualify, tap in, call me, text me, or contact Washington State Housing Finance Commission, and ask them some questions, because even if you may not qualify now, maybe it's an opportunity that you may qualify later, and that's something that we can reach out to you if things change, right? But I just don't think that enough was done by the state or by the Washington State Housing Finance Commission to really get the word out. And so I think it's up to me and you and our community to get the word out.
Well, that means that I get the opportunity to make sure that you share your information so folks can connect with you as they want to know more, and maybe they qualify, they're trying to figure it out. Please look right there, let folks know how they tap in.
Well, my name's Kwasi. I work at John L. Scott. I'm gonna make it really, really easy for you. Just call me or text me at 206-854-4132. I do classes. I'll also do a one-on-one consultation with you. Whatever you wanna do, whatever your availability is, call or text me at that number and I will help you to tap in whatever way and make it easier for you.
Wow, that's a huge offer. Kwasi, thank you so much for being here, for sharing this information. It is definitely going to be helping so many out there who are looking forward to being first-time home buyers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trae. I appreciate the opportunity.
Wow. Y'all, this is fantastic information. I'm going to wrap all this up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Here on Back to Besa, it's always been important to me that we uplift stories from across the region and that no matter where you live in the nation, you never have to miss a moment of the show as we continue to highlight the beauty, excellence, and resilience of our communities across the Pacific Northwest. Why? Because representation matters. So no matter where you live, be it the Central District or Centralia, Portland or Pullman, or anywhere across the country, I encourage you to join me on this Back to Besa journey by downloading the free Fox Local app on your phone or smart TV as we continue to elevate the very best in our communities.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Himani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on clients discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Himani here. See you guys in a few.
Disney and Cameron Mackintosh's Mary Poppins comes to life on stage at the Fifth Avenue Theatre, featuring Step in Time and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Make it a jolly holiday at Mary Poppins. For tickets, visit fifthavenue.org.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I got to give a huge thank you to Kwasi Bowie for being here and shedding light on the Covenant Home Ownership Loan. Now, this is something that is phenomenal. First off, I can't even imagine being able to access an additional $150,000 for a home that I want to purchase for me and my family. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's on us, y'all, to spread the word. It is on us, and it's clear, because if you didn't know about it until he spoke about it, then you know it's on you, because who else is talking about it? Oftentimes, these kind of programs come in and out, and they judge the program based on how much was able to be disseminated. So if it doesn't get out there, they're like, well, clearly, you know, nobody needs this or nobody wants this, and then it doesn't get repurposed. It doesn't get replenished. So I'm going to encourage all of you to spread the word about the Covenant Home Loan. Now, this is not only a loan, it was an act that was passed, and it's really because Washington State is doing some work to try to lead in this way by creating these revolutionary, really bold programs that are really trying to fill those voids and those gaps that exist when it comes to home ownership, specifically for the communities that Kwasi mentioned. And I will say that so many of us that have been in community and doing work, we've experienced the decline of home ownership. We've experienced, again, generations not being able to care for the home after the original home buyer in a previous generation of our family actually established something. Now, whether prices may be exorbitant right now, the market is crazy, this is an opportunity for you to utilize something to get yourself into home ownership. And as a homeowner myself, I can only tell you this. I know plenty of people in my life and beyond who are paying so much more in rent than I pay for my mortgage. And I get so much more space. So I'm gonna just tell you, like right now is a great time to be thinking about fixed costs with a mortgage versus the variable costs that you experience on the rental market. So if you got $2,000 that you're already paying, $2,500 you're already paying in rent, trust me, there is some type of condo out there, some type of small home, some type of property that you could purchase that will be around the same amount or less. And I am telling you that I experienced it personally, and so I'm sharing that as a personal experience. Be encouraged and share this information today. He gave you the phone number, y'all. Tap in with him if you have questions. If you know folks, share that phone number, rewind it, write it down. Make sure that y'all get in touch with Kwasi because he's opening himself up and his expertise to have that one-on-one consultation with you so that you can understand the benefits of this program and how it can benefit you. Wow, you know I'm inspired. I want y'all to be inspired, of course, today, because what I just learned here is sharing with me something that allows me to see there's more and more need out here for some specificity when we talk about these kinds of loan programs and products. And honestly, it's filling a need that so many of us in communities have experienced firsthand. So I encourage you to tap in and be inspired, y'all. Even if your inspiration is just to share this at the water cooler, at work, and at your community centers and in your libraries, just share this information so people who are really needing that product can get it and we can start increasing the numbers when it comes to home ownership. I thank y'all so much for watching with me on this terrific Tuesday, and I'll be back with you the middle of the week tomorrow. Until then, y'all, at 11 a.m. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.